Hi folks, I'm excited to talk to you today about my 3-week checkup on April 30th, 2025. I was very eager to go see the doctor to report on my progress and to ask a bunch of questions. The way I keep track of those questions is on my calendar where I have the appointment listed. I go into the notes on that date and that appointment time, and whenever I think of a question, that's where I put it. So when I go see the doctor, I've got 20 questions or so to ask him. I know he's always glad to see me coming. Anyway, my husband went with me, and he was there to kind of take notes in case I forgot anything. So I asked the questions, he took the notes, but I took notes too. So let me go over some of that with you. First thing they did was they took x-rays, and the doctor said everything looked great. He showed me the x-rays. It's funny to see, that's not my real knee, that's the prosthesis. But everything was in place and it looked good, and so that was part went very well. All of it went well, actually. I was a little concerned about the swelling because it didn't look like it was going down very much, but he said the swelling looked fine and nothing to worry about there. He told me I didn't need the compression stockings anymore. I was very eager to get rid of those, and because as I told you before, they're a pain to put on. So he said I don't need that anymore. I don't need to do the breathing machine, that I think it's called a spirometer. It measures how deep a breath you're taking. I don't have to do that. The compression stockings, I told him I still wear them sometimes, especially with the one with the foot cut out, because I'm having this sensitivity around my knee. First I asked about the sensitivity, and he said that was normal, that it's just the nerves reactivating or whatever it is they're doing. And I also had some itching, and I don't have itching around the incision, which is what I thought I would have, but it's in different places. Sometimes it's around my ankle. I've had a lot around my ankle. Sometimes it's higher up the shin, not ever on the thigh, I don't think. Below my knee, I've had a lot of itching. So sometimes I wear, and I've had a lot of sensitivity to cold and to touch, hypersensitivity. So sometimes I wear especially the footless compression stocking, especially at night. It just, because I would wake up from the sheet rubbing on my leg. Just any touch would hurt. And the compression stocking, it just gave it a layer of protection between me and the sheet, or me and the pajama bottoms, or whatever I had on it. It just gave me that layer of protection so it didn't wake me up as often. And he said, that's fine. I just said, can I wear it if I want to? He said, yeah, you can wear it if you want to, no problem. Let's see, because even in the daytime occasionally I would. It's just distracting. It's not painful, but the sensitivity is distracting. Let's see. So everything I described, he said, is normal. He said I should still ice after PT, after I just exercise, like if I go for a walk or something, and at night. And I should still elevate during the day, ice and elevate. So not as much like in the beginning, you're icing all the time, but like 3 times a day, something like that would be fine. The sensitivity and everything is worse at night than it is in the daytime. It may just be you're more aware of it at night, but I think when I'm tired, I tend to feel those things more late in the day, like 4 or 5 o'clock in the afternoon and at night. I asked him about the steri strips that I had um, over the incision, and I talked to him about, because I thought I still had stitches there. Through the steri strips I could see dark places, and I thought those were stitches. He said, no, the stitches are clear. That is where there had been some blood, and then now scabs formed there. But the stitches, because I kept saying, well, can't we just take these stitches out? He said, those aren't stitches. The stitches have dissolved. That's just the blood, just the dried blood, and then also scabbing. So that was a surprise to me. And it was also a surprise to me he wasn't going to take those strips off, because I thought they were coming off. He said he wants to leave them on till they just come off on their own, that the scabs will eventually fall off on their own, and when they do, the strips will fall off, but that as they come up around the edges, as the bandages come up around the edges, I can trim them with clean scissors, and eventually they'll just fall off. So I was disappointed about that, but I think I've taken very good care of those steri strips and kept them covered. I've been wearing a bandage, a gauze pad over them and under the compression hose, but I don't have to wear the bandage, and it all can get wet. And he said those steri strips will start lifting up on the edges. I can cut them away and eventually they'll fall off. So, and he said he will, if they're not off when I go back, he'll take them off, but I'm not going back for like 6 more weeks. So I have a feeling they'll be off before then. Oh, I'm continuing to take the aspirin. The everything else ends. I already did the antibiotics, taking Celebrex. That goes for a month, and so another week or so. But the aspirin I continue. Till I go back to see him again, I believe is what he said. Yeah, till I go back to see him, I take a low dose aspirin, like a baby aspirin, in the morning and in the evening, and that's to help prevent clots. I mean, there's still a small risk of clots. I think it's pretty small, but he wants to continue that until I come back to see him, so that's fine. That's no big deal. Swelling can continue for, I think he said 6 to 9 months. I've even heard a year when I've watched YouTubes and stuff. But, it's going to keep going down, but it may last for a while, so that's nothing to be concerned about. He's not concerned about the redness or the heat. My knee is hot, and there's redness around there. Sometimes it's red, depends on time of day and how much exercise I've done, or just regular daily activities. But when I get up in the morning, it's the best time. The swelling is the lowest and the least, and the redness is the least. It's almost always warm on my knee, but sometimes it's reddish, and other times it's just kind of discolored. The first couple of weeks, my surgical leg, the right leg, looked like I had a tan with a bruise on top of it. So where there wasn't a bruise, my skin was tan looking compared to the other leg. And then that started to fade. It's just a discoloration, so it's kind of around the knee it's kind of reddish and discolored. And the bruising has been going away. I have pictures of the bruises on the website that I'm sharing, and they're in sequence so you can see them when it's finally going away, but they're doing much better now. They look pretty angry there for a while. Oh, and heat is okay. I'd asked about, can I put heat on sore muscles from physical therapy, because I didn't want to put heat on where the swelling was. But yeah, it's okay to put heat up here and on where I feel like sometimes I have a shin splint. That's okay. And on the quad, that's okay. just not right on this really swollen area. I asked about when I can kneel, because I don't really feel like kneeling right now, but eventually I want to be able to kneel. And he said, yeah, not right now, but I will be able to do that. And I said, what about crossing my legs? Because sometimes that feels comfortable to me. I can cross the left over the right's the surgical knee, and I just cross it up high above where the stitches were. And it's even more comfortable to cross right over left, and sometimes that feels comfortable. He said it's probably not a good idea to cross my legs right now. He didn't say. I suspect that has to do with blood clots. So I have been avoiding that, but yeah, I can do it. It doesn't hurt to do it. It's not painful to do it, but he'd rather I not do that. And then the final question I asked him, but my number one question was, when can I drive? Because that is the way I will really get back to my normal life. And I felt like I could drive, and a couple of days ago I went out with my husband to an empty lot, and he drove, and then we switched sides, and I drove around that parking lot, and I practiced slamming on the brakes one time and could do that without any trouble. So sitting in the car, I mean, I don't have any pain. So I was just a little nervous about really having to slam on the brake and how that would feel. But it felt fine, no problem. Because you can put weight on your leg. I mean, you can walk, so you can press a brake. So the doctor, after examining me and everything, said, fine, go ahead, no problem. You are ready. So that was a big relief, and I was so excited about that, because now I'm not dependent on other people to drive me places, and I can go where I want, when I want, and get back to feeling normal again. And that's a huge plus. I mean, every step of the way, and you'll find out in your own experience, everything you do that moves you closer to feeling normal just lifts your spirits and makes you feel like you're really making progress. So 3 weeks, lots of progress. I feel good. PT's going well, and I'm just very happy. I'm happy to have been able to have that appointment and gotten a good report. So I'll see you next time. Bye.